On today's episode, we're answering the question, no, we're not, because I'm on the wrong damn outline.
Okay, so let's define the term mastermind for a second first. And you guys interrupt me anytime you need to, because everybody else is going to have the same question you're going to have, I promise. So just fire away. A mastermind is a small group of people who are marching towards the same goal. And they're being led by someone with experience on that road. So we're all going down the same road together and somebody's leading us down the road, okay? But here's the real magic of a mastermind. It's the leader's ability to curate a really special group of people. Having a mastermind is a lot like having a really awesome dinner club. You got to find the right people to be in there. They don't have to be the same. They don't have to look the same. They don't have to believe the same. They don't have the same political views or whatever. Hopefully they're all wildly different, but they're on the same goal track and they're all bringing their life perspectives and experiences to that goal. That's a mastermind. What a mastermind is not is a course that you buy for $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, and you're in a large Facebook group and there's 250 people in it. And the coach shows up once a month to do Q&A and he gets to 15 questions out of 200. That's an e-course with a once a month broken coaching call and a Facebook group. That's what that is. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not a mastermind. And so many people call that a mastermind now, but that's not a mastermind. It's an e-course. The masterminds are just so cool that when they're run right, they're awesome. And so anybody with a not mastermind product, it's kind of becoming a trend to call that a mastermind because it's a way cooler term.
I want to clarify because as business owners, we see masterminds for our business all the time. But what you said is they're all on the same goal track. So does that mean we can have a mastermind for things that aren't business growth?
Oh, yeah.
In other industries?
Yeah, there's a person in my mastermind right now in our advanced group. She's learning to build a mastermind with 14. We put 15 people at a time in our groups. So she's one of 15 and she's building a mastermind on relationships and dating coach. She's a dating coach. She's been featured all over in like the New York Times and she's an amazing coach, but she's building a mastermind for people trying to heal themselves and work on their part of showing up right in a relationship. She's just doing that in a mastermind format. So yeah, nothing to do with business. We have people who do health and wellness and cellular regeneration and all. It's just experts taking people down a common goal path.
So as the leader, the expert who's gathered this neat menagerie of awesome people, is that person leading them in a traditional coaching sense on a path? Like, do you say that, okay, in this track, we're all going to scale, we're trying to scale our businesses. We're going to follow this model. We're going to do webinar, we're going to do webinar followed by a thing, by a thing. Or how does that sort of work?
Yeah. So in your example, if that's the goal of the coach and the people in there, then yeah, it's a real coaching path. It's just no one-on-one. Every now and then a mastermind leader will throw in one or two one-on-one sessions, but it's really just doing the coaching thing in a group. And here's the reason why. If you throw in one-on-one sessions, that gets to be a slippery slope because once you say to your group, hey, at week 6, we all have our one-on-ones with Coach Chris, then people stop sharing what's really going on and asking the hard, embarrassing questions about how to fix what's going on in the group because they're going to wait for week 6. But those group aha moments collectively are what make groups work. So I've just personal story. I've come from a really hard childhood, very abusive home, not trying to dive super deep into that. But I've been through a lot of therapy sessions, one-on-one groups and residential programs as I've healed different aspects of my own life. I'm so grateful to have had those opportunities.
Therapy is awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Go therapy.
Go therapy.
Yep. We're very pro therapy.
My appointment's in just a couple hours. I'm with you.
I love this. Love this.
Yep.
Folks, if you're listening to this, like lean in. If you need help, get it. Don't be embarrassed. Everybody's real here. Just go get help. It's worth it.
Yep.
Okay. So the first time I was in a residential setting where we were like staying at the place, like day 2, I was like asking, because I'm an entrepreneur. So I'm still an entrepreneur even in therapy, right? So I'm asking the coaches and therapists like, oh my gosh, like me and like everybody else in the room, it seems like we just got maybe a month's worth of work done in the past 2 days. And they're like, yeah, give it a week. And I did. And I was like, oh my gosh, we just got a year's worth of work done. They're like, yeah, because humans change like exponentially faster in communities and in groups when we're all going through the same transformation than we do one-on-one with an expert. And yet we all think that, oh, if let's pick who's an awesome coach you guys love? Like, who are you just in love with right now? Anybody?
I feel so on
Oh,
the
hot
spot.
seat. Holy Toledo. Who
Yeah.
am I
I just
loving?
flipped the
Right?
whole podcast around.
There, you did, and I'm not okay with it. I'm going to say Jenny Wright is an amazing
Right.
Okay, fine.
that I love.
Yes, that's
Aw.
so good. Jenny, if you're listening, oh my gosh, like these people love you. And Jenny, I've seen your work too, like amazing stuff. Okay. So I would think if I got to be at lunch with Jenny Wright or at her house for like just a full-on 8-hour session where she can change my world, that would be like the best ever. But truly, Jenny and a group of 10 people like me who are just as eager to learn, grow, and change is going to be more powerful than anything else. So Jenny, I'm sitting here looking at you like you're it, right? So the most coaching you can put into someone is only going to be amplified when other people in the room are saying, oh my gosh, I got it. And then all of a sudden Allison asks, oh, what about this? And I'm like, oh my gosh, Allison, that was a good question. I wouldn't have thought of that for 6 more months. Thanks for getting me up to speed right now. Nothing works like that in the human experience like groups.
Agreed. An aside, when the pandemic hit, Allison and I mean, we've been friends for years. At that point, we've been friends for like 4.5, 5 years. And when the pandemic hit, Allison and I we still have 2 separate businesses, but we decided to pool our resources and mastermind the 3, like there was 2 of us. And then we brought in a third, one of our friends, Katie. And we masterminded together as just a group of 3 of us to try and keep going and not lose our motivation because it was really, really crappy and scary. But 2, like, all 3 of us lost clients at the beginning of the pandemic. How are we going to survive? Right. And masterminding together was like, oh, we could do this, or oh, we could do that. And Allison was the champion in that original mastermind group because she was like, oh, we're going to create it. Like there, by the way, there was no decision making. It was Allison, the steamroll awesomeness of, we're going to create a podcast. We're going to create a webinar. We're going to do this, this, and this. And everybody else was along for the ride. And that helped propel us and keep us going. And then eventually Allison ran out of steam and it was like, okay, Jenny's now going to steamroll the rest of us. And then Katie's like, I'm going to steamroll you guys. And it just kept us going because eventually we all just were like, oh my God, I can't go anymore. So there's power in the ability to trust people, to help you along your journey and create that vulnerability. Like there's vulnerability in a mastermind, right? I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah.
You've got to open up and say, this is not my forte and I need like all the help.
And it's a really weird thing. And you guys know this, it's hard. And I'm sure everybody listening in or watching, you know this too. It's hard as an expert in your market to ever say, I don't know something. It's just vulnerable. But having a safe place where you can say, guys, I teach, I don't know anything about Facebook ads. So I'll use this as a good example. Guys, I have a Facebook ad agency and I'm completely freaked out by this new iOS change. What do I do? Like, you need a place to be able to say that because that's reality. You just can't say it in your Facebook group, right? And a mastermind gives you a place for that.
Okay, so I have seen these high ticket masterminds. I've looked at the sales aspect of it and really tried to break down how to get people into it, because by the time I see them, they're already pretty successful. So how do you like start one with this idea of selling people into it? What kind of steps should we take?
Okay. Well, number 1, we're gonna go through 4 steps. This is number 0 step. Okay. The number 0 step, because you just brought it up, is by the time you look at them, they all seem pretty successful. How do I start? Okay. So we've all had this experience. You go out there and you're like, oh my gosh, their branding is so freaking amazing. I could never be as good as they are. Maybe you ask them, They're thinking, oh my gosh, I threw this website up last night. I had those pictures taken with my friend's iPhone last weekend. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I'm so glad it impressed them. And we've all had that experience where we've put up our little front, our Instagram side of our lives. And so just because we can look at someone else's mastermind and say, wow, that's amazing. I'll never get there, or how could I get there? It's all marketing. And it's amazing, hopefully, but we're all marketers, right? Let's be honest. It's marketing and sales. Okay. So let's go after our steps here. 4 big stepping stones to really be able to launch, prospect, sell this mastermind. Number 1, you've got to prospect organically, and you've got to stay after it. Got to prospect, got to prospect, got to prospect. If you don't have a way to predictably generate on-profile leads for your business, you don't have a business. You're just getting lucky.
What is wrong with us? We have the giggles.